Let's go ahead and get started. So I am going to introduce to you Duffy Cohen from Valixo, and he will be doing the presentation today. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and Duffy, it's all yours.
Perfect. Thanks for that. I'll share my screen and we can get started on my side. So number one, wanted to thank the PC Bennett team today for at the same time giving us the opportunity to walk everyone here through Velixo, which is an Excel-based reporting software that links Acumatica with Excel. What you'll see today is a fairly straightforward demo where we'll go through the history of Velixo for the first couple of slides. Following that, what we'll do is really dig a little bit deeper into some of the functions that your team is going to have access to or who may already have access to the platform. And then for the major crux of the call today, I'm going to walk you through how to run a simple trial balance, walk you through a sample pack report so we can really get a little bit more in depth with some of the functions. And then what we can do is leave some time at the end for any questions that your team might have associated with the Velixo functions. We'll be happy to assist. So just to get started, I'm the channel sales manager here at Velixo. We've recently added a new member on our team, Marianne Beaulieu, who's our customer success manager. So she helps our customers with the day-to-day activities associated to their actual product itself. So any new launchments of new updates with Velixo, she'll be the one to advise on that. We also have Pavel, who has worked with Acumatica historically for over 5 years, and of course Gabriel Michaud, who's been in the ERP world for over 25 years. He started his first business at just 17 years old. I don't know too many folks who have been in that mentality, but he has quite a bit of experience. He was the first partner reseller with Acumatica in 2009. And upon selling his business, he actually decided to work for Acumatica for a number of years just to understand a little bit more Acumatica as a whole. And really from there is how Velixo had been created. And we've been around for just over 5 years now. And we've seen some great growth with our fantastic partners. We've grown from 0 customers to over 720 now in just over 5 years. So we're seeing some great growth. And as you can see from the map below, we have folks in many countries right now. We need to update this graph definitely, but we're in 22 countries. Primary market is the US, where the majority of our customers reside. Outside of that, it's really Australia, South Africa, Europe, and then Canada, where our head office is located. Now, the history of Velixo really goes back 20 years ago for Gabriel, where he had many customers who were having difficulty extracting their data from their ERP system, just being able to manipulate it in the way they see fit. And at that point, he said, let's not reinvent the wheel. Let's work within an ecosystem or framework that folks already know. And I think with the fact that everyone here, I'm sure, has some experience with Excel, with over 1 billion users, he found that it was just much easier to create an add-on within an environment that was familiar to individuals. And that's really the story of how Velixo had been created. Now, I'm going to be going through the demo in about 3 to 4 minutes or so, but prior to that, I wanted to walk you through some of the functions that you're going to have access to. So the first thing to know is that once Velixo is downloaded, the first thing that you all will see is our Acumatica Ribbon. And once you click on that, there's going to be a drop down of many functions you'll have access to. To be specific, you do have over 70 functions. It's actually very close to 80, specifically for your financials, your project data, and generic inquiries. We're having more and more customers contact us about generic inquiries right now, because at the end of the day, you're not only limited anymore to your financials, your projects, you can really extract any single module. Last two items I want to mention about the software is that, number one, all your data is refreshable at the click of a button, and it's all in real time. So it's that live connectivity that we're using, and we're using OData for that live connection with Acumatica and Excel. Now, after the webinar, if you wanted some more testimonials, please visit our Acumatica, the Acumatica Marketplace. We're very proud that we have 30 reviews, and hopefully if we have some happy customers, hoping to get a few more here. just about a month and a half ago, we were all at the Acumatica Summit, and we were very proud to take home the ISV of the Year award. And it's a very big feat for us, being in competition with some great organizations there, but it shows the value that a lot of the partners, customers really see in our software. Now, really one of the pillars of our business was to make the most user-friendly experience as possible. So the number one thing you'll see is once you're downloading Valixo for the first time, it's going to take 30 seconds to a minute to download. Once that's complete, you're really going to be off and running. On top of that, we have an unlimited user model. So what that means is that you could have unlimited users if you have 5, 6, 10, 15 employees who will need access to Valixo. Everyone will have access, and there's no additional fee whatsoever for that. Last item I wanted to mention is that we restrict in Acumatica, we mirror the exact same restrictions you have when accessing Valixo. So within Acumatica, if you don't have access to a specific module, you still won't have access to that module when trying to use Valixo. So we mirror those credentials and those access rights that you set up for each employee. Last thing I want to mention is, this should be our tagline, is that if you know Excel, you'll know Valixo. Now, this is the last slide prior to digging into the demo itself. Wasn't able to include all the 720 or so, I believe, organizations we work with right now. I just wanted to provide a snapshot of some of the folks you'd be in the same league with. And at that point, I wanted to emphasize Acumatica for a moment, as they themselves have seen the value in our financial software, that they even purchase it for their own financial use. Okay, great. So what I'm about to do now is dig right into the demo itself, and then we'll be able to get started on a few worksheets. So the first thing I'm doing right now in downloading Valixo is the exact same process that you will go through in your downloading steps. And when it's done installing, you'll see we'll be able to work off a new worksheet, and then from there, we'll be able to get started. Perfect. So first thing you'll see once Valixo had been installed is the Acumatica ribbon up top that had been added. At this point in time, you'll see a drop down of additional features that you'll have access to. So the refresh all button, connection manager, drill down, report distribution, writing back to Acumatica, and then a few other additional features that you'll see on the right-hand side. First thing I'm going to want to do today is connect Acumatica to Excel. So I'm just going to click on the connection manager and simply click on the add connection. At this point, I'll just fill out the appropriate fields, and then from there, we'll be able to get started. And what's great about this is the username and the passcode that you would be using right now in Acumatica is going to be the exact same username and passcode that you log in here. You don't have to remember a new one. We also do support SSO or Active Directory. And the following time you're logging in, you don't have to fill in all this information once again. Just click on the Remember Me button, and then from there, all you'll have to do is fill in your password. Okay, great. So at this point, we are connected. But before I go on to the next page, I wanted to emphasize here that if you have multiple connections or multiple entities, you can have multiple entities all within one specific sheet itself. That you have that flexibility with Valixo, and we have one customer I believe has over 40 tenants. So there's not an issue in terms of the amount of tenants that you might have. So the first thing I'm going to walk you through today is just a simple child balance, just to show you some of the functionalities you're going to have access to with Valixo. And let's put a few filters here. Now, the first thing that we're going to look for today are the GL accounts. Now, at this point, you can put them in manually, but it's fairly taxing. As opposed to doing that, you can click on the Insert Chart of Accounts icon that you see up top, and it's going to ask you for that connection that we just connected to, and you simply click on Insert. At that time, you're going to see that all your GL accounts have loaded. If I open this cell out, you're going to see this is a dynamic function that we've created. Now, at this point, or at really any point in your report building part of your report building. All you'll have to do is you can save your folder and log back in, and then all you're going to have to do is click on the refresh all button. Then you're going to see all your data update in real time. So if you have any GL accounts that have been added, removed, or modified, you're going to see that automatically update. So you can create the parameters at any point, save, and then just change the date range. Next I'm going to walk you through is looking for the account name. I'm going to simply type equals account name. And at this point, you're going to see a drop down with the commands. So we have to add the connection, so that demo we just connected to, and then we'll take the GL account here. And at that point, we have all of our account names. Next, let's fill out these parameters. And then let's look for our account ending balance. At this point, you can go the same route we previously went, where you type equals ending account balance. But if you're familiar with Excel, all you'll have to do is simply click on the insert function button. And the first thing you'll notice as I scroll down is we've added 7 new categories. So we have generic inquiries now, audit functions, projects, GL, list functions, and project writeback. If I click on GL, you'll see all the associated functions you have access to, but we'll go back to that in a moment. We're going to take the account ending balance. At this point, we'll simply fill in the appropriate fields. Now, 2 items to note before I click on OK is number 1, you can include unposted transactions in this scenario. And we also make it very easy to report for a specific time period. You'll also see we have a help on this function icon that's available. When you click on this button, you're going to be redirected to our support page where we have assistance. You'll see for this specific function, number 1, you'll see the syntax right here clearly indicated. We also include all the parameters. In addition to that, we have examples that are a little bit off the beaten path of what I'm showing you. And it's just to give you a better idea of what is possible with the reporting tools associated with Valixo. We've also added here the limitations just so you can see all the functions that you'll have access to with any specific limitations. Now, going back to the support page, you'll see here we have also example reports tutorials that you yourself will have access to. So we've created canned reports. I'm going to be going over the P&L and trial balance report sample pack in a couple of moments, but you'll see other reports that you'll have access to as well, where you'll simply have to add your connection and your functions later on. I think the lastly but most important part here is to explain the Valixo functions. So I did indicate we have over 70 functions associated with Valixo. You have assistance with every single one of these functions. So we have the syntax available. We also have a number of videos available, but on top of that, you'll have examples for every single functions. So for financials, projects, and generic inquiries. And I didn't indicate here, but you also have videos that you'll have access to as well for your team. Gabriel and the team really want to empower our controllers and our accountants. And we find that most folks, they have access, they have knowledge within Excel already. So it's not that much of a learning curve that we try to post as much online tools available. Now, once we're ready, we'll simply click on OK. And then we have our values updated in real time. Let's make this look a little bit better. And at this point here, we can modify the date range if we'd like. At this point, you'll see the values updated in real time. We can take that a step further and we could compare 1 year, let's say, versus the previous year. And then you'll see the same thing. It's that live transfer of data between Acumatica and Excel. Then let's say we're looking for the budget, because budget as well is part of the ledger within Acumatica. You could have multiple ledgers within Acumatica. Now, let's just say we're looking for the variance. Just wanted to show a simple trial balance. At this point here, for account mapping, there's a few other features to be mindful of, and this is really mainly in the account grouping section. So we'll see, and let's give you an example where let's look for 10-100, 10-200, and then 10-300. At this point, I'm simply going to copy the cells. And at that point, we're going to paste it, and then you'll see all the values updated in real time. Next is if we're looking for a specific range. So let's say we wanted 10-100 to 10-750. At that point there, you'll use a column, and at that point, you'll see that as well updated in real time. The last one that I'm going to mention, I'm not sure many of you have seen this before. It's something called wildcards. So let's say we're looking for a GL account starting with the number 1. At that point, I'm going to simply put a question mark. Let's say at this point, let's say we don't want also account 10-200. At that point, you'll see it update in real time once again. I didn't include sub-accounts in this scenario. I left it blank, but you can search for specific sub-accounts as well and consolidate for that, just as you did here. Now, what I'm going to do is switch on over to our main sample pack report. And like I said, this main sample pack report is something that all of you here already have access to. It's available on our it's on our website right now. So sign in. The first thing you're all going to see once I log in is that we have a P&L, we have a trailing P&L, an income consolidated report, cash flow statement, a trial balance. All of these reports, like I said, you will have access to already on our website, in addition to construction sample pack and a few other samples as well. Now, you'll see for this specific report here, we've created, you're going to see multiple branches. So a different branch will give you a different report because we want to make sure that the intended user gets the right report in that scenario there, and you're able to consolidate in an easy way. One of the, I would say, most utilized features on our platform is something up top that you'll see called drill down. And it really allows you to click on any cell within any single one of your spreadsheets and go to the source transaction directly within Acumatica. So that's that tight integration that I was referring to. So what we'll do here is we'll click on total operating expenses, and I'm simply going to click on drill down. And in a moment, you're going to see a new sheet that's going to open up where we're going to be able to see various features such as the transactions, as you'll see here, the ledger it's coming from, the specific sub-account, the financial period, branch, and as you get to the right-hand side, you'll see balances. But I want to show you how we are connected to Acumatica. So what I'll do here is simply click on this line, and let's go ahead and click on View Transaction. At this point, I'm going to be redirected directly within the account detail section within Acumatica, where we'll be able to see the account details of the specific invoice. So number 1 here, we see that it's one at the Hilton. We could take this a step further, and we can see the original invoice as well. Simply click on the reference number. And in a moment, we will see the original invoice. So you'll see here 201.73. We can compare that here to 201.73. And what's great about Valixo is you can also drill back. So if you see A15, I'm simply going to click on that. And it's going to show me that this came from specifically the travel. So that's the great feature. You can drill down, but you can also drill back. And I wanted to show this just for a moment, just to give you an idea of what you can do with these reports at the end of the day. You're working within Excel, so you can add pie charts, graphs, tables very quickly because you're using standard Excel formulas in this point here. Now, the next thing that I'm going to walk everyone through today is something called report distribution that you see right here. It's small, it should be a little bit bigger, and I think in our new release, we are making that a little bigger as well. But let me go to an example where we'll be able to go through a real report distribution. So you'll see here, once you click on report distribution, this is the template that you'll see. I filled it out just for time purposes and to give everyone a real example of how to utilize Valixo. First thing you'll notice is the format that you can utilize. So you can choose to send these reports out in Excel or PDF. If you want to send it to folks outside your organization, you can remove all the formulas if you'd like. You also have the possibility to password protect it. As you'll see here, you can add your folder path. So if you're saving your reports to an online path like SharePoint, OneDrive, there's a number of them. You can just put the folder path right here. You'll simply put in the email addresses where we'll have the email to. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see this is where the real customization really comes into play. Number one, you'll see within the body of an email, you can actually push these reports through. So it doesn't have to be in an attachment. On top of that, you can even take just a portion of a report and send that out. So if you want to send just the total operating expenses to a specific unit manager, you can send it very easily in that route. Then as I scroll to the right-hand side, you'll see that you have the opportunity here to send a report to of a specific branch to a specific end user. So it gives you that flexibility to filter through. And then you'll see here, you have other filters that you can utilize as opposed to branch name. Now, once we're ready to press send, you'll see here, I've saved it to my draft. You can do it so you'll send it immediately. But all I'm going to do is simply click on distribute all. And then at this point, it's going to be in real time that these reports are sent out. And we've been told that this has been the lifesaver for a lot of users. A lot of end users have told us they've spent countless hours, if not days, sending out reports. Now we'll wait for the reports to load. They should load, say, in another 30 seconds or so, and then be able to walk you through those. Okay, great. So as you'll see, the first report's an Excel file. I'm going to open up the next one. We'll just use PDF for the moment. And then you'll see here, this is an example of a consolidated report. At this point here, like you see, it extracts everything you have on your sheet. So if you recall that we've added the pie chart, it will take everything that you have on your spreadsheets. And the reports that you send out don't even need to have Valixo associated functions. So if you need to send out if you need to use the reporting function for other tools, you have that accessibility as well. You'll see here, this is another branch, and you'll see here we've removed the budget in this scenario. And then you'll see here, this is a sample of a report that's being sent within the body of an email. You'll see the income consolidated report. We added a pie chart and a few other visuals just to give you an idea of what is possible. And then lastly, you'll see a sample of where we're really able to slice and dice these reports, where you'll be able to extract just specific subsets of them. So in this scenario here, if you have a stakeholder that only wants the net sales, you can send only the net sales to them. So just in making sure that it goes to the right and intended user. So that feature that I just walked you through is called report distribution. Now, the next item that I'm going to walk you all through, as you'll see up top here, is something called write back. Now, predominantly with ERP systems, it's all about extracting your data. With Valixo, you now have the ability to push back your journal transactions, push back your budgets. If you're using the construction edition or if you're using projects, you'll even be able to push back your project forecast to Acumatica. So this is something that we've added about 1.5 years ago to 2 years ago. And we have a lot of customers who use the budget really on a daily. And what I'll do is I'll just walk you all through an example that we've already created. And first thing you'll notice is the template that we're using today is very similar to the template that you'll already have access to within Acumatica. So we did that on purpose to make it very similar as possible. First thing you'll notice is that we have 2 revenue accounts, then we have expense accounts, but we've also added 2 custom columns here where we've included a forecast that you can include, update. This point here, you'll see the associated periods. You could modify this template, like I said, it's just using your own templates. It's being able to push back to Acumatica. You'll see here our revenue, cost of goods sold, gross margin. You can simply use what if scenarios here when you're utilizing Valixo and wanting to push something back when you're using the forecast tool. But it's very easy. Once you've updated your forecast, and before I'm doing that, let's say I'm using Office 365, I can even make a comment to someone internally. So let's say, Marianne, can you please take a look? Once it populates, there we go. Marianne, can you please take a... And then you'll see it send off in real time. At that point, it's just keeping these reports as live and active as possible. Now, once you're ready to press send and you're ready to push your reports out, all you're simply going to have to do is click on Budget Write Back and then click on Import Current Worksheet. Once you click on Import Current Worksheet, you're going to see it get pushed back to Acumatica right away. You have the opportunity to release it right away, but most folks just desire to release it once they receive it specifically within Acumatica. Here you'll also see a few additional filters that you can utilize. When you're using the budget template, you'll see here, if you have multiple connections, if you want to go to another specific tenant, you can simply just switch tenants, just to give you that flexibility. So that itself is the budget write back template associated with Velixo. Same idea that you'll see here is for journal transactions, where you'll be able to import your own journal transactions, and then once you're ready, you'll simply click on Import Current Worksheet. Now, I'm going to go over generic inquiries in a moment, and I wanted to emphasize that with generic inquiries, we're launching something in the next month or so where you'll be able to also push back your GIs to Acumatica, as well as you see the write back options right here. Okay, great. So the next feature that I'm going to walk everyone through today is something called generic inquiries. Now, with Acumatica, you do have preset inquiries that have been pre-installed with Acumatica. You might also have custom GIs that you are utilizing. We're finding more and more customers now utilizing generic inquiries more than ever. So I found that it was going to be useful to walk you through this feature. So I'm going to go into my demo account, and I'm just going to take an example of a GI and walk you through how you could import it into Excel. So we're simply at this point going to click on the bills and adjustments. And this is a generic inquiry. This is a pre-built one within Acumatica. You can modify the template as you see fit. But for our sake, all we're going to do is click on Edit Generic Inquiry, and we're going to take the inquiry title. So we're simply copying the inquiry title. We're going back into our Excel file with our connection that we're already connected to. At this point, I'll type equals GI. At that point, you're going to see connection, you'll see demo, and then all you're going to do at this point is put the inquiry title. And then momentarily, you're going to see the entire inquiry load. It's fairly quick. At that point, you'll see in about 5 to 6 seconds, your entire inquiry that was within Acumatica, so the bills and adjustments, had loaded. And like I mentioned, you can do this with any specific GI that you have within Acumatica. And then at this point, you can play around with it with your specific Excel functions, or you can use some of the features and functions that we've added within Velixo and Excel. So let's say here we wanted to make this look a little bit better. Say we wanted vendor, status, and then currency. At this point, we can actually filter through this inquiry. So let's say for vendor, we only wanted transit, and then for status, we wanted open. At this point, what you can simply do is create a filter, and then you can put that filter back into the inquiry itself. So this is another one of those functions that we created, so equals GI filter. And then you'll see, just like before, we have to add the connection, the GI inquiry, and then we're going to take the above filters. And at that point, we've created our filter. We simply copy the filter. And then once we have done copy that, you'll see that we can put this into our specific inquiry itself. And then at that point, you're going to see it filters through. And like I said before, you can save your worksheets at any point. Once you save them and then log back in, all you'll have to do is click on refresh all, and then you're going to see everything update in real time. With Valixo, you also have the opportunity within financials or within the other modules to hide your 0 rows, hide your 0 columns if you'd like to. Now, the next item I'm going to walk you all through, and I'll spend a moment with this, is the project reporting sample pack associated with Valixo. I just wanted to mention we support projects just as much as we support GIs as well. So we want to make sure that every customer in every industry is able to use Valixo. So you'll see here, this is an example of a construction reporting pack that we've created for a customer over a year ago, I believe now. So you'll see all the ongoing projects. You'll see the dashboard on the left-hand side being extracted by the below sheets that you see here. And all this data is I wanted to emphasize, all your data is stored in Acumatica. With Valixo, it's really just displaying it in a different format. So the first example here, I'll walk you through. This is a project portfolio report. So you'll see here, for this specific instance here, we have a project manager. We can have another project manager, and it would show you the ongoing reports. Well, I believe for that individual, they might not have any reports going on. Maybe Jeff Bakler. Okay, let's try one last one. Well, now it's just funny to find anyone. It's okay. We don't need to. Oh, and there we go. So the first thing you'll see is for this specific project manager, all the associated ongoing projects they have with the KPIs and the budgets and the actuals. If I scroll to the right-hand side, you'll see the budgeted hours versus the actual hours to date. And I just wanted to open this cell for a moment, just so that you can see, when I open this cell out, we've created account codes for the project side. So similar to the account ending amount that I previously showed, now you're going to see project ending amount. We've added cost codes in this scenario here. So we've wanted to create all the specific functions that you would need access to for projects, just as much as every of the other modules associated with Valixo. Then at this point here, you'll see the associated margins as well. So just showing you a good example. Now you'll see another example here. We have a specific project of an ongoing projects with the appropriated cost codes. We've created a WIP report. So if you have multiple projects ongoing at once, you'll see at the same time, I wanted to mention you can include your standard Excel functions and then just add the Valixo function and connection in. So you'll see that we've created that here. And then lastly, you'll see as I scroll to the right-hand side, the project forecast right back. So you're able to push back your project forecast to Acumatica once again. Now, the next item I wanted to just mention just for a moment is going to be a very useful tool that a lot of our end users are benefiting right now. And it's the official Valixo blog that you see on the right-hand side here. Now, once you click on that, you're going to see an abundant amount of videos that our team has created to help customers out with specific issues that they've had, or just to show them different ways on how they can utilize Valixo. So it's a very useful tool if you want to stay up to date with all the new features we're coming out with, but also being up to date with some of the questions that customers are asking, because these videos that we create are solely based on customer requests, and that's why we've even launched generic inquiries and GI writebacks. Now, this is the majority of the conversation that I wanted to walk through today. We are having a promo I wanted to mention. For any new customers, we're doing a 10% off till the end of the month, I believe, for your first year. So if anyone's interested, be more than happy to set up another call with your team. And then just happy to answer any questions that your team might have.
So if you have questions, we can go about it a couple ways. One is you can write it in the Q&A, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you so that you can speak. So any questions, anybody? There's one hand raised. Let me see, where is it? There's two hands. Okay. Colby, you're unmuted.
I have two questions. So on our Velixo reports, we actually do send them out, and it takes us a lot of time to break them apart. They're all in tabs, and then we send them out. But we send them to a folder on our server. We don't send them via email. Do you have an option to where I could break them apart, push the button, it breaks them apart and saves them to our server versus sending them out via email?
Let me see if that's something we could accommodate. Not something we've been asked before, but let me see if that's something we could accommodate. I can get back to you on that question. Let me just take this down as a note on my side.
That would be Foursquare. And I'm afraid to pronounce your name because I think I'm going to really screw it up, but you're unmuted. Dhiraj Sharma.
Hi, yeah, that's correct. That's
Sorry.
that's the right pronunciation. Okay, hello. It was really good session. Thank you so much. I'm a really new user to Acumatica and Valixo. And after I want to know what is the quickest way to get help, because my team tried to give me all the accesses, but still when I refresh, I get hundreds of pop-ups. I get the numbers after saying, okay. But those pop-ups doesn't go away when next time I refresh the numbers. So what is the quickest way to get help? If you send that pop-up or somewhere, or is there any customer service you guys have or help support? How can we get those kind of issues solved quickly?
Yeah. So you have thanks for your question. So you have two different ways to obtain support. So you have both your partner themselves who can definitely provide some support. Our side as well, we do have a few different support programs as well that you can benefit from. So questions like that as well. But you'll have both your partner and your customer there to support you. So once you send something our way, we'll be able to definitely assist with that.
Where can I find that contact details or email address?
Well, you can start with us. So what company are you with? I'm sorry.
Aditi.
Okay. So you can start with support@pcbennett.com.
Okay.
And we'll go from there.
Okay, great. I will do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And anybody else? Any more hands? There's another hand somewhere. Colby, you're there twice, but I needed
Yes, that's me.
Colby.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah, this is Adolfo. I'm with Colby.
Hey, Adolfo.
So I had a follow-up to his question. Whenever we save our P&Ls to a different folder, it loses the connection. So we're having to add the Velixo connection every time we save it. So we have a sheet, multiple divisions, right? When we copy and save each individual tab, every time we save it as, it loses the connection and we have to add it. Is there a way to make it to where it follows the connection?
Can you repeat that question, please?
So we the way so we have different branches in our company, right?
Yep.
And we are working P&L has all the branches in one file. So as we are dividing up the different P&Ls, we copy the tab for, let's say, branch 1, and we save it to a different folder. When we do that, it loses the connection to Valixo. So we have to add a connection every time we save it to a different folder. Is there, I don't know if we're doing it incorrectly or if there's a way to do it to where it keeps the connection with the new file that we saved to the new folder.
Yeah, so I can definitely set you up with someone on my team to show you how to do that. It's a fairly it's not a difficult task, so I can definitely connect you with Howie from our team who will be able to show you that. It takes no time from his side to show you that.
Have you, so is that a common problem? Have you heard of that, or are we doing something?
So we don't, it's not a, we don't see too many common problems. So it's just it's just about showing how to utilize the functions and in a different way.
Gotcha. Okay. And also I had a second question. Is there if I wanted to create a GI, sort of like you showed us, from the payroll module. So if I wanted to create a GI that dumps all the expenses, all the employees into an Excel spreadsheet, is there a good, I guess, is there a report in there that I can use that I can reference it, sort of like you did the AP bills one? Is there one that we can use currently?
Yeah, so at that point you'll have to create a custom GI within Acumatica, and then you'll be able to export it. But that is something you'll be able to do. You just have to create a custom GI because I was just going through a pre-built report with it. Like,
so there's nothing
pre-built
there,
GIs
right?
That they've created.
So there's not a good one right now that we could just tap into without having to rebuild one?
Well, it depends what your filters you're looking for and how you've set it up already with an Acumatica.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, Duffy, please provide more details on including unposted transactions.
Yes, I was actually in the midst of trying to reply to that. So that's given a scenario with Valixo, you do have the ability to include or not include unposted transactions, which is a limitation specifically within Acumatica. So if you have a large expense that is a one-time expense that you don't want to include, for instances like that, you can not include unposted transactions. I'll just show you here within the template that we created. It was that P&L sample report pack. Let me just share my screen.
Yeah. No. I'm not sure.
Okay, so you'll see here within the P&L document here, just showing you an example that we've added the option to include unposted transactions. So you do have that functionality with Valixo. So just showing you here an example of how you can include this with Valixo, and how it really is an additional feature that you can utilize that is a limitation.
Does Valixo work on a local server?
It does work on a local server, yes.
Um,
And if any customers want our white paper, we can send that as well.
Can you expand on the projects portion? How can this help the PMs with SOVs? What's an SO? Statement of SOVs?
Not statement of work.
No, statement of, I don't know, or SOV.
Yeah, so with our projects segment, you'll see that within the Velixo Help Center right here, we have all of our functions where we have everything associated for finances, financials, projects, and generic inquiries. You'll see here we've created 40, I think it's 46 functions specifically for projects. So the majority of the functions that we have created are for the project side. So you can look for specific projects to look at your total cost over a certain period of time, how much allocations that you have to put forth. So you'll have that availability with Velixo and the financials just as much as you have with that project. So it's really a one-to-one ratio.
Oops. What other questions do we have here? Okay, we did that. Can you, that was answer live. Done. Schedule of values. Oh, SOV, schedule of values. Never heard. I guess there are a lot of people know that. I just don't. Work on a project at least that how, okay. I think any other questions? I think we've answered all questions. And if I haven't, is there still people wanting to speak?
There's some good questions today.
Yes. I have one more question.
Okay.
All right. So if so going back to your AP demo, if we wanted to see the same all the AP transactions but with the vendor names, is there a GI that we can currently use?
Yeah, so that's something that it appears. So if you wanted to use a similar report for like the AP bills and adjustments, you'll have that report. You should have that report. So you can extract the same idea for that specific GI because it's a pre-built one.
So if I use the GI that you had, that had the vendor names. I didn't really see if you hit.
Yeah, that one had the vendor names, I believe. Let me check. I just realized I'm not sharing my screen.
Because what the managers are requesting is, okay, we want to see you know, the detail on the P&L.
Yeah, so
we want to have, you know, vendor names, invoices, all that stuff.
yeah, so you'll see here, this one has the vendor name here.
Okay, so everything on this screen is going to appear on that. GI.
Yeah, and the idea with GI is that it really extracts every single field you have. It's a bulk export, and then from there you can filter through it. You can play around with it at your own needs.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
There's a question if they can try Valixo for a month at no charge.
We definitely have that option. We definitely provide a 30-day free trial at no charge, so we can definitely do that.
Perfect. And we'll give you a call, Jerry. Okay, anybody else? I think we have 7 minutes to spare, you guys.
can all run to our, we all don't have to run to our next meeting anymore.
One more question.
Do you share those models that you've already built, those Velixo models? Because sometimes creating them from scratch, like they can be done, but if you've already have something laid out, do you guys like on Velixo website or whatever, can I go download those pre-built models, or do you guys share them with clients?
Yes, so we have all those reports that I was walking through. You'll have accessibility on our website. It's free. There's no charge to it. You just go to our support site. Here, let me just share my screen.
We use Velixo for everything. We use it from our monthly P&Ls to generate our financial statements. Our auditors are looking at it this year. They absolutely love it. They love that they can drill in, have the transactions, have the invoices attached directly to it. It's actually smoothed out a lot of processes for us.
See.
There's a testimonial right there unrequested.
That was beautiful to hear. Thank you very much. You'll see all the reports right here. So the P&L trial balance report pack, that was the one that I walked through, but you'll see the report, the construction one as well, and you'll see a few other reports. So you have access to these. You'll just put your connection in, your functions, and then you're really off and running.
So I'll give you a quick testimonial. As you know, what do they say? The kids of the shoemaker walk without shoes. There's all these reports that I had wanted for a long time, but it would take me hours to build it on the Acumatica financial report writer. So I put it off, and then Valixo came about and I installed it. And that night, in an hour, I had what I wanted, and I was so sold on this product. Now, our reports still have a lot of work to be done, which we don't take the time to do, but I get what I need real quick because they're quick to build. I just haven't taken the 1 hour to build the rest of the stuff that I need, but I will vouch for Velixo any day, anytime. Love it. And I have a lot of customers that absolutely love the product. So I hope that this information was helpful. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, Patricia B at pcbennett.com or sales@pcbennett.com, and we'll get back to you and get you answers to any of your questions. Duffy, you owe me the name of a person that can help Colby with his issue regarding the folder.
Yes,
And,
I took that down.
That will be it. Thank you so much, everybody, for your time today and for attending our meeting. And for those of you that have requested to be contacted, I will give you a call and we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Duffy.
Bye.
Oh, one more chat. What was this? What happened to the chat? Oh, here.
It's just a thank you for the presentation.
Okay.
Oh, I
Any
got
question
it.
And then one more question.
available?
Where is the recording? Where is the recording available? We send the recording after the meeting is done. We will send the recording to all attendees plus anybody who registered and didn't attend.
Thanks again.
Paul Slagle, is that really you? I am unmuting Paul Slagle because I'm very curious.
It is. You're wondering why?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I get pulled back in every now and then, and you know, we're just really scratching the surface of Velixo. We use it, and they want me to do some stuff on a monthly basis still. So I come in and see Patricia's sort of shocked because I theoretically retired,
Retirement looks
every now and
really
then-
good
every now
when
and
you're
then
in my
we,
meetings, you know?
Yeah, and we've got the new guy who replaced me at the level of this kind of stuff. He's I'm going to get him using all my Valixo tricks and having him learn a few here. I learned a new one today that I'm excited about. So at least one. There was a couple there. So, but yeah, I'm really here. I really am retired. But yeah, I still got my finger in the pie. Yeah.
That was funny. I saw your name and
Yeah, he thought I was dead. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Thank you for attending. It's nice
Yeah,
to see you.
but so
Or to
Caesar's
see your
gonna be-
name, I guess.
Caesar will be our Velixo guy. Richard's our Acumatica guy, but the two of them, you'll be working with both of them sooner or later. You're working with Richard now. You'll be hearing Caesar's name. So
Sounds
it's all
good.
good. It's all
Thanks,
good.
Paul.
Yeah, thank you. It was great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
I know.